Welcome to Module 3 of the New York State AmeriCorps Project Director Training. This module will provide information about AmeriCorps member benefits, such as living allowance, the Siegel Education Award, health insurance, and other benefits. Let's get started. Module 3 is broken up into 7 sections, and the first section of Module 3. Number 1. Why become an AmeriCorps member? AmeriCorps gives individuals real-life education and work experience. They get to give back to people in their community and provide them with services they need. The best part of serving is that you get to see results. By being part of a national program right here in New York, you receive extensive training as well as a living allowance, health insurance, and child care benefits. On top of that, you will also receive a Siegel Education Award when you complete your term of service. You might ask, how much do you have to serve to earn all those benefits? Well, let me tell you how it works. The next part of this training will teach you more about the different types of AmeriCorps member terms. There are several different AmeriCorps member terms. Full-time members must serve at least 1,700 hours. Full-time members must complete their hours within 1 year. This means that the member term should allow up to 12 months to serve. Programs may require shorter terms of service if the program model allows, but this must be outlined in the member contract. 3 quarter-time members must serve at least 1,200 hours. Half-time members must serve at least 900 hours. Half-time members must complete their hours in 1 or 2 years, depending on the program's budget. Reduced half-time members must serve at least 675 hours. Quarter-time members must serve at least 450 hours. Minimum time members must serve at least 300 hours. Education Award only members can serve for any of the above number of hours. These members do not receive a living allowance from the corporation, but do receive a Siegel Education Award for successfully completing a term of service. The corporation provides funding to the subgrantee of up to $800 per member service year, MSY, for costs associated with operating the program. AmeriCorps members who are serving in a part-time capacity can be enrolled later in the year, as long as the program has available part-time slots and members will have enough time to complete their term of service. If a member enrolls later in the service year, his or her living allowance amount will be prorated based on the length of term. Now let's talk about the living allowance. The AmeriCorps member living allowance is a stipend and not an hourly wage. The living allowance should be the same every pay period, and it is considered taxable income. In the past, an AmeriCorps living allowance could disqualify an individual from receiving Supplemental Security Income, SSI. However, the HART Act, which became law in 2008, excludes any benefit, whether cash or in kind. as being counted as income for the purpose of determining SSI eligibility. SSI should ignore AmeriCorps benefits when determining whether a person qualifies for SSI benefits. To learn more about the services that might be impacted by the member living allowance, please visit the corporation's website, and the link is posted on this slide. If a member chooses, they can waive the living allowance entirely. There are a few other important rules regarding the member living allowance. First, AmeriCorps members serving in New York State are not considered employees. Therefore, they are not eligible for unemployment benefits, including unemployment insurance. In addition, the member living allowance starts and ends depending on when a member actually serves. In other words, programs cannot catch up allowances for members who start late, nor provide lump sum payments for the remainder of the total amount for members who complete their service term early. Your AmeriCorps program should establish a minimum number of hours to be served in each pay period. Importantly, organizations that are hosting part-time AmeriCorps members are not required to provide an AmeriCorps living allowance. If your organization chooses to provide part-time members with a living allowance, the amount should be prorated according to the number of hours the AmeriCorps member serves per year. Contact your program officer at the Commission if you have specific questions about the amount of living allowance your members are eligible to receive. Please keep in mind that some public assistance benefits might be impacted by the AmeriCorps living allowance. If a member or a potential member has concerns about losing one or more public benefits, you should consult with your local Department of Social Services office for further clarification. Social Security Disability Insurance, also known as SSDI, will not be affected. For more information, you can visit the corporation's website. Social Security Disability Insurance, also known as SSDI, will not be affected. If a member or a potential member has concerns about losing one or more public benefits, you should consult with your local Department of Social Services office for further clarification. To learn more about the services that might be impacted by the member living allowance, please review the Government Benefits and Participation in Service Programs link on the corporation's website. In addition to the living allowance, AmeriCorps members are also eligible for other benefits. These include health care coverage, child care coverage, student loan deferment, and workers' compensation benefits. Child care coverage is available to full-time members who are parents or legal guardians of dependents under 13 years of age who reside in their home. In New York State, AmeriCorps members are covered under workers' compensation insurance. In order to contract with the state, the employer or vendor must have coverage through a current policy in order to be determined responsible. New York State's workers' compensation law requires that employers operating in New York State have workers' compensation coverage for their employees, with limited exceptions. Employers are required to obtain and keep in effect workers' compensation coverage for all employees, even part-time employees and family members that are employed by the company. Employers must obtain workers' compensation insurance with an insurance carrier authorized by the New York State Workers' Compensation Board. Health care coverage must be offered to all full-time AmeriCorps members and must comply with Affordable Health Care Act. Full-time AmeriCorps members have the option to decline health care coverage. However, if a member declines coverage, it must be documented by the program. Members may qualify for postponement or forbearance of the repayment of their loans during service. The Education Award will help you pay off qualified student loans when you're finished. You may also qualify to have the interest accrued on your student loans during service paid for by the National Service Trust. Members should contact their lenders for more specific information or to confirm their loan status during AmeriCorps service. For more detailed guidelines on how to administer benefits, please visit the Corporation of National and Community Services website. Some special restrictions apply to part-time members regarding AmeriCorps benefits. For example, grantee organizations are not required to provide health care or child care benefits to part-time members. Your organization may choose to provide these benefits to your part-time members. However, they cannot be paid for with funding provided by the corporation. Also, health insurance for part-time AmeriCorps members cannot show up in either the federal or grantee share of the AmeriCorps budget. Next, let's discuss the Siegel Education Award. The amount of the Siegel Education Award is tied to the Pell Grant, which changes every year depending on the federal budget. In the 2018-19 program year, for example, full-time AmeriCorps members who served at least 1,700 hours were eligible to receive an award of $5,920. The amount that members are eligible to receive depends on the number of hours served. This means that members who complete a minimum time term of service are still eligible for a partial education award. A lot of questions come to mind when thinking about the Siegel Education Award. Here are a few answers to some frequently asked questions. How many Siegel Education Awards can one person earn? No individual may receive more than the value of 2 full-time education awards. This includes the sum of education awards from those received after successful completion of a term of service, partial education awards, Silver Scholarship Education Awards, and Transferred Education Awards. When and where can an education award be used? AmeriCorps Education Awards must be used within 7 years of the completion of service. The AmeriCorps member must have a high school diploma or equivalent at the time the award is used. Please keep in mind that the IRS has determined that education awards are subject to income taxes in the year they are used. Furthermore, if an AmeriCorps member completes at least 15% of a term and leaves service due to compelling personal circumstances, that member is eligible for a prorated education award. Can an AmeriCorps Education Award be transferred to someone else? Yes. An AmeriCorps member may transfer an education award to a child, grandchild, or foster child if the member is enrolled in an AmeriCorps or Silver Scholar position on or after October 1st, 2009, and is age 55 or older on the day commences. An individual receiving either a Silver Scholarship or AmeriCorps Education Award by transfer has up to 10 years from the date the term of service was completed to use that education award. What kind of things can the AmeriCorps Education Award pay for? The AmeriCorps Education Award can be used to repay qualified existing or future student loans, or expenses incurred while participating in an approved school-to-work program. It can also be used to pay all or part of the cost of attending a qualified institution of higher education, including certain vocational programs. Qualified educational institutions are defined as Title IV schools and are schools where students can receive federal assistance. If a member wants to use the award to repay an existing or future student loan, the loan must be guaranteed by the federal government and may be made by a state agency. How do members receive their education award? Upon successful completion of a term of service, the AmeriCorps program will verify the completion to the National Trust. Once that information is processed at the National Trust, a voucher is mailed to the AmeriCorps member with instructions on how to proceed. The Education Award can also be accessed through the AmeriCorps portal. Payment is made directly to the educational institution or loan holder, not to the AmeriCorps member. This concludes Module 3 of this training course.